What was that?
I have seen this before. Weird.
Yeah.
Mind games, mind games.
Seems
I
familiar.
have seen this before.
Seen this
I've
coming.
seen this.
It
Did I
happens.
just feel that?
I can't. Have you felt it? I can't remember it.
Did I come to this place before?
I can't believe it. What was that?
I've seen this
It's happened to
before.
me a lot of
Have I
times.
ever been here
It has
before?
happened with you also, no?
I was coming back from home from tuitions. It was in the evening time, 7:30. While crossing this bridge that comes between my tuition center and home, my phone started ringing. In that hurry to pick up my phone, my books slipped out of my hands and they fell on. When I picked up my books and I stood up and very casually I looked at the river, but on looking at that river, I was struck by this thing that this is something, exactly this thing has happened and exactly this position I was standing in, and I had looked at the river in the same way. That was one of the striking moments when I felt Déjà vu.
Déjà vu. A moment of weirdness, grabbing you for a few seconds, where you feel you have seen, sensed, and felt the exact way before, knowing that you have never lived it before. Some think déjà vu is just a chemical fault in the brain. For some, it's a momentary glimpse from our past life, while some just enjoy the mysterious part of our being.
It's a French expression. There are two words, déjà and vu. Déjà means already, and vu comes from your verb to see, voir. And the word already, in this dictionary, I found that the first time it was used in 1205. So, and the expression déjà vu sometime maybe in the 18th century.
Man has always been a curious animal, desiring to know the paranormal and the unusual experiences. He ended up giving logical reasons to it. Émile Boira, a French psychologist in 1876, was the first person to ever mention déjà vu as a phenomenon. Most people can feel, but cannot judge the experience of déjà vu with clarity. It is a very common phenomenon, and surveys reveal that 70% of the people have experienced déjà vu. Déjà vu is a different experience from precognition. Precognition or intuition refers to predicting the future, while déjà vu is more like reliving the moment. Déjà vu enhances our sixth sense, and it can strike through the sound, touch, and vision experience.
When I was 8 years old, my parents took me to one Buddhist monastery. At that time, I had the feeling that I had already experienced in this monastery. And one Buddhist master, a guru, he was chanting in the main hall, and I always think about that at the moment, and I had the feeling that in the former life, also the link with this life. And at that time, I asked my parents, allow me to renounce the family and become the Buddhist monk. So the event regarding the becoming Buddhist monk, also the relating the déjà vu.
A lot of research in this field led to a series of theories, including the divided attention theory.
When we enter a particular situation, sometimes we are not fully alert to that situation. Nevertheless, the brain has registered the visual input, the auditory input, the same situation. The brain has registered, but I have not consciously recognized that situation. I have not been alert to that situation. After a few milliseconds, after a few seconds, when I finally wake up to the situation, the brain has a feeling that, okay, I have been in the situation earlier.
For legendary psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud, déjà vu is ego's defense against id and superego.
You have these three layers of conscious, preconscious, and unconscious, and there are three areas of your personality. It is the first, ego is the second, superego is the third one. Now these three elements of your personality work on different principles. Id works on the pleasure principle, ego works on your reality principle, and superego works on your morality. The synthesis of other experiences that you are having in your day-to-day life, are composed of those reactions that come from you, from within you, okay, that have contribution of ego and superego. When you experience or when you feel that this has happened earlier, those other elements which are part of that experience, get synthesized, okay, as a reason of defense, okay, with the help of the ego that tries monitoring id and superego.
With innumerable theories of psychology, medical science has a cutthroat opinion. They believe it's a minute dysfunction in the temporal lobe of the brain, commonly stated as déjà vu.
We have a part called temporal lobe in our brain which processes every incoming information. The brain knows or processes this information and decides upon repeated use of this information whether memory for that information will be formed or not. There is a part in the temporal lobe. This part has a cortex, a small portion or fold which is called entorhinal cortex, which also makes sure whether the incoming information is familiar or unfamiliar. Usually the human cortex has 5 to 6 layers, but in the temporal lobe, in the entorhinal cortex, there are 2 additional layers which might be processing the information dually, doubly, again and again, and that might be one of the causes why déjà vu happens.
Despite the scientific reasoning by medical science, it is the experience of déjà vu that still leaves us uncertain.
It's a very interesting thing that you have an ability of thinking about what you're thinking. You have an ability about thinking about what you're feeling. And you have an ability about thinking about what you're experiencing. So any experience, any instance that you go through, immediately your brain starts working on it and starts thinking about it. And then there are probable explanations based on whatever you know about it and whatever it might mean, or is it something related to deep inside self, or is it giving you something related to some messages that are coming from inside, or whether these things are coming from outside. With déjà vu, that's where it gets weird, that the whole model, the whole complexity as we perceive it, goes haywire in terms of explaining what has happened.
Explanations by medical science and psychology might look like just 2 sides of the same coin. But there are some who believe in the third dimension too. For them, it is a way to connect with their inner self.
In the Buddhist tradition, we have 8 consciousnesses, and déjà vu, also the name of Alaya Vinaya. Alaya Vinaya receive all the function of all the consciousnesses. So Alaya Vinaya can control and supply the stance on existences. Medical science gone by the term déjà vu. In Buddhism, we call the Alaya Vinaya consciousness. Buddha taught déjà vu more than 2,500 years ago in India. And in our time, the Holiness Dalai Lama also talk about reincarnation regarding déjà vu.
Such clearly stated explanations. Which one to choose?
The science that I would practice, that is allopathy, we have to base our concepts on logic and reason.
I think it's something that is, all these sciences most of the times coexist.
Medical science stop before on the phenomena, on the existences.
Gravitational force was discovered by Newton. Even before that, it existed. Only thing is that we needed a proper explanation which Newton provided. So probably in the near future, we'll have the right explanation for this, but that doesn't mean it does not exist neurologically.
No matter how one justifies déjà vu, it surely takes the human mind to another space yet to be explored. Like Newton discovered gravity, we wait for someone to unlock the secret of déjà vu.